Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM19 story, part of the furniture with me, Daniel. It's season 7, episode 4, and today we play second place Sunderland, who are chasing promotion, as we look to avoid embarrassment and keep a little comfortable gap to the bottom 3 in the league. But first, before we do any of that, we've just got to scroll up a little bit. Top of the league, Fulham. They're definitely going to be winning it this season, don't be doubting that. They're 10 points clear of Sunderland already and have got an 11-point cushion down to third place, a goal difference of plus 18, and they're going to be right up there. For us, it's looking not too bad, to be honest. After the last episode where we were really struggling to get points on the board, we've managed to nick a couple of slender wins. We haven't really dominated any games yet, but we've done enough to be 5 points clear at this stage, which is about all we can ask for. MK Dons and Preston are among the favourites to go down, but the rest of the teams down there are all favourites to be in the top half, so we're going to have to do really well to finish above them. Millwall are the side we've just played and beaten, so hopefully they can have a bad run as well, just so we've got a little bit of a cushion. It's nothing bad on any of those 3 sides, but we really need 3 sides to be poor this year, or we're going to get sucked into it. We're only just above that point a game ratio, so we're certainly not anywhere near safe yet, but our goal difference is just -1, which means that we're having narrow defeats rather than getting absolutely hammered most of the time. So if we go and look at the schedule since you were last with me, we're back slightly later than usual because Middlesbrough are right down there, and we want to see and test our wits against some of the best sides in the Championship. With Sunderland up in second, we can do exactly that. So you were with me on the last day of August for that 1-1 draw at home to Swansea. We were looking at signings after that. We didn't manage to do anything in the end, unfortunately, so nobody came in, but also no one left either. So we look okay at the moment from that point of view, though we are going to need strengthening in January. We followed up that Swansea game and the international break though with back-to-back wins, which was vital. Away at MK Dons, who were expected to be right down there, they certainly helped us out by going down to 10 men early on, where we got our first 3 goals before the break, and then just as they got one and got back into the game, they then went down to 9. So Williams and Lewis with goals for us, and Bobby Duncan getting another one as well, and we followed that one up with one of the most ridiculous displays you've seen. A 5-1 win at home to Nottingham Forest. The clear-cut chances was 3-2 to Forest, and they had even possession and an even amount of shots. Somehow every chance we had went in. Tagzef got a brace, as did Broja, and Bobby Duncan scored yet again. It was a 90th minute consolation for Forest, but we were absolutely delighted with that one. We then lost narrowly 1-0 away at QPR. It was an absolute screamer from Jordan Cousins, which we couldn't do anything about. Aside from that, we matched them completely. We then got a point at home to Hull. We went 2-0 down in the first half. Drew Yearwood with 2 screamers from the edge again. These 2 games were the first 2 after the January window update on FM19, and unfortunately it seemed like it was screamers galore again after that. Crawford and Duncan did brilliantly to get us a goal each in the second half and managed to get us a point on the board. However, our 5-1 win at home to Forest was cancelled out at Stoke City. They absolutely dominated, and again it was a late penalty consolation which avoided utter embarrassment. But Stoke were by far the better side, and I'd be surprised if they're not up there come the end of the year. We lost 1-0 at home to Sheffield United. The following game that was. We didn't do too badly in this one, but we just wasted chances. We've changed a couple of tactical instructions since then, and it seems to have worked in the last 2 games. So away to Middlesbrough, we drew 2-2. We went 1-0 up in the first half with Owen Jack, before Middlesbrough got 2 quick goals early in the second half, but Jack came to the rescue late on with a late equaliser for us. And then we won 2-0 at home to relegation rivals Millwall. Owen Jack with the brace again, as he finally starts to adapt to Championship level. But a much sterner test today as we play one of the promotion favourites, and not only that, one of the promotion favourites who are actually doing well at the moment and are right up there in the league. Having said that, with 15 games gone, we'd have very much taken 17 points and a 5-point cushion to the relegation zone. We've just got to make sure we can try and sustain it. If we're in that position in January, then hopefully we can bring in 2 or 3 quality players. So let's get into the game. We want to see what we're doing tactically. We haven't changed the formation at all. However, we've tweaked a lot of the individual little instructions, which does have an impact on the way we play. So both teams in inconsistent form, but Sunderland very much the favourites, with a better side and a much bigger budget. Don't forget pre-season, we showed you the wage budget per annum for each side in this division. We were by far the bottom team in the league, and as a result, we're just performing miracles to be getting points on the board. We've got a brilliant young team though, almost all of them are wanted now, so Owen Jack has just gone off actually, Crawford's wanted, Adam Lewis is wanted, Bass in goal is still wanted, McCabe as well down there, we had a brief spell with Jack Stacey too, and there's a couple of others who have flicked on and off during the season. Most of the rest of our team's on loan, so at least we're not going to lose those ones. But our lineup's just as you'd probably expect. I think it's exactly the same as the last episode at full strength. It's Bass in goal, Burn Williams and Baldock the back three. We're still playing with a stopper, which seems to be working okay. Nico Williams and Lewis are the wing backs. Tagzef and Shibola in central midfield. Shibola still playing on that Mazzala role, with David Crawford the playmaker in behind Owen Jack and Bobby Duncan. In terms of tactical tweaks, we haven't changed our mentality yet, although we do it at home to some of the lower teams in the league. Against Millwall we went to a positive mentality and we just seemed to dominate the game from there. But in terms of our attitude to the game, we've dropped our tempo slightly just so the lads aren't rushing things, trying to force the ball forward. If we need to go sideways a few passes, then so be it. We've increased our attacking width very slightly. That's a new change for today, just because I noticed against Millwall we were keeping possession in the middle well but didn't really have an outlet pass. And then moving into transition, we haven't made any changes to this screen whatsoever, but the rest of them come in the out of possession screen. We've moved our defensive line forward a bit. That's just because we've got quite a quick defence, and a lot of the teams in this league seem to be playing one up front with a target man, and they don't often have much pace. We're going to prevent short goalkeeper distribution as Bobby Duncan's increasing his stamina now, and the lads have got full fitness. With two up front, there's no excuse for us not to close the keeper and the short ball out. The last thing we're going to do, which worked against Millwall, is just increase our defensive width. It matches our attacking shape then, and just means that we don't flip between two different formations when we're defending. So hopefully that'll work out well, but we'll soon see when we get into this game. I'm not too worried about the result in this one. I'm not going to judge our season on losing away at second place Sunderland, but it would be nice to see a good performance and see our tactical shape working in motion. But let's proceed to the match and see if we can pull off a surprise. 4-2-3-1 for Sunderland. It's a formation we've come up against most of the time this season. Seems to be the most popular one in the league, but we just don't have the wingers to play it. The one thing I have thought about doing is playing a 4-4-1-1, but it would mean one of our three brilliant strikers plays and the other two miss out, which is probably one of our strengths this year. We've worked on our tactical instructions for set pieces, so hopefully they'll develop as well. I can see Jack Rolls in central midfield for Sunderland. Now correct me if I'm wrong, those of you who have been following from the start. I'm pretty sure I had him at Dover in FM19 in the head coach, and he was a very good player but at National League level, and in this game he's pretty much Premier League standard. He's worth 6 million and is a shining star for second place Sunderland, so that's going to be an interesting one today. They've still got a few of their players from real life, obviously Gooch is the main one there, and a few solid players in defence we'll have to be wary of. But let's go to the team talk. We'll tell the lads to pick up where they left off. If they can play like they did in that 2-0 win against Millwall, we've probably got an outside chance of getting a result. We've got to accept our limitations. We're not going to be able to compete with the top sides in the league, but if we can defend well and prevent big heavy defeats like we did against Stoke, then we should be able to keep the goal difference down, which should be really important towards the end of the season. 2 minutes gone and our game plan's ruined. Anthony Ralston's got to come on as Williams is injured. It means we can drop both of the wing-backs back to a standard wing-back mentality. They've been playing as complete wing-backs all season, and I do feel they get caught out a little bit, but we lose our attacking threat if they're not there. But Ralston's on the pitch now. He's been asking for first team football, and depending on Williams' injury, he could very much get it. 10 minutes gone though, there's not been a shot in the game, and as long as that continues, we'll be very happy. It's a free kick for Sunderland now in an attacking position. Gooch finds Gary on the edge of the box. Great tackle by Tagzef, who brings it forward to Crawford. We've got two left up. It's one of our gambles from set pieces defensively. We leave two men in attack, normally Duncan and Crawford. It's Reece Williams on halfway as the ball's cleared. Goes long but is headed away as far as Lewis. In towards Jack, it's cleared away. We've got our wing-backs trying to cross the ball from the byline. It doesn't seem to have worked there as Lewis is crossing from deep. Beats a man again though and goes back to Crawford. He switches to Ralston Ralston. Got a chance to deliver. Goes short to Shibola. I thought that hit the post, but the commentary's indicating it was straight at Walton, who gathered it comfortably. Rolls from the edge with a shot for Sunderland at the other end, but he puts it over, and with 15 minutes gone, it remains goalless at the Stadium of Light. Shibola's been booked already. We've got a warning to get him to ease off tackles. We'll do that and hope he doesn't get a second yellow during the first half. The ball's coming to the box from Sunderland, but it's straight at Alex Bass. We've got a warning to close the left back Williams down as it's rolled out towards Tagzef. Bass switches it to the left to Adam Lewis. Brilliant ball out by the keeper. He's charging into the opposition half. He's got a man inside him, Bobby Duncan. At the edge of the box to Shibola. His shot's blocked and is behind for a goal kick apparently. I thought that was a corner, but it must have come off Owen Jack. 10 minutes to the break though, and I'm really pleased with this performance so far. It's a corner for Sunderland, an in-swinger by Gooch. Grant's won the header, but luckily it's straight at Bass. Our marking from set pieces hasn't been great. We've got really good defenders here at this level who are strong in the air, but their marking just isn't quality at all. They don't really follow the tactical instructions, and it has caused a few problems. It's probably the biggest weakness of Baldock, who we've loaned in. I think his marking's only 10. Baldock's just run through the whole team. Baldock being the right back for Sunderland, but luckily our James Baldock clears away. That'll surely get confusing in the second half. Hopefully he'll just stick to being a right back from now and they won't end up in the same box. It's George Baldock for Sunderland throwing it in again. He's coming forward down the right unopposed. One of the problems playing with just wing backs is that the fullbacks can push forward for the opposition. Grant delivers to the back post, headed by the Sunderland winger. Brilliant save by Bass to tip it over, and it's behind for another corner as they're starting to assert their dominance coming up to the end of the half. It's headed away by Byrne as far as Rolls. He gets it on the edge of the box. What's he going to do with it? He's just being held up for now, forces it back to Amos, and now Gary on the edge out to Gooch on the left-hand side. He's crossed it to the frack post. Grant's lost out in the air, but it's fallen to Rolls. We're really hanging on at the moment. Jack Rolls again in the middle. He finds Amos. Back to Rolls again. Switches it to Derek Williams. We're not defending narrow, but it doesn't seem to be making a difference. We've won a free kick though, I'm not sure what for, and hopefully that'll see out the half. But it's not. They've got it down on the edge. They flicked it on from the corner, and it's been skied over the bar. It really should have been put in the back of the net, but we'll take that at half time. It's 0-0, but Sunderland are on top now, and we've got a lot of work to hang on in the second half. Let's go and talk to the lads, see how they're doing. We've been told to say they're doing well, so we'll do just that. We're happy with their performance and they look delighted, but I really fear that we could collapse in the second period. One of the things we've had a problem with this year, where a lot of the players have come up the leagues, they've only got a stamina of sort of 10, 11, 12, and with the likes of Crawford, his natural fitness is 6. It's really cost us in the last 20 minutes. It's where we've conceded a lot of our goals. We've often been ahead at half time or level, and then let in 2 or 3 in the second half. But unfortunately, until we can get better quality of players or better training facilities and better fitness coaches, that's something that probably won't develop too much. We've got Gary charging at us over halfway for Sunderland. He gives it to Grant. Out to the left-hand side to Derek Williams. We continue to try and defend, but we're under a lot of pressure now. Rolls beats his man and curls an effort from the edge, but it's saved by Bass down to his left-hand side. Lewis intercepts a long ball across field. We've got 3 on 4 momentarily. Crawford's getting the ball into Owen Jack. The man's made a great sliding challenge for Sunderland, and it's been cleared away to Lyndon Gooch. It's end-to-end so far in this half, but Sunderland still having the better of it. Grant 30 yards out back to Amos. They've got a man over on both wings. It's rolls to Gary. You've seen that I haven't got us on a defensive width of narrow, but still the wing-backs are getting so much time for Sunderland. Our wing-backs just aren't going wide at all. Rolls has misplaced a pass though, luckily for us, and it remains goalless with an hour on the clock. We'll think about substitutions in a moment, but for now we just want to keep our shape. Byrne gets the ball out to Ralston, the sub on the right. He's made an awful first touch, and now Sunderland are coming forward with a sub Murphy. They've got it on the left wing inside to Amos, curls it into the far corner, and yet again we're beaten by a strike from 30 yards. We keep getting beaten by shots from 25-30 yards out, even though we've got a pressing intensity of high. We're trying to close down quickly, press the ball, but 30 yards out we just don't seem to do it. Long ball over the top towards Duncan though, and Walton's tipped it behind. I'm not sure if it's a tactic that's the problem, or just that the players aren't really capable of following it or keeping that intensity up for 90 minutes. The corner's headed away back to the taker Tagzef. He delivers, it's a poor ball in again, full straight for Rolls who clears as far as Williams. James Baldock to Johnny Byrne. He finds Shibola on the right of the box. Charges in but it's deflected to the keeper and Walton gathers that easily. Sunderland have got it on the right here with Baldock. He goes inside to Gooch and now rolls. He finds Amos. Now Gary again on the edge. Shots blocked and is cleared away. Tagzev doing the work there. We've not got a deep defensive line and we've not got a narrow defensive line. I just can't see it being put into practice on the pitch. They're so narrow and so deep and it just seems to be causing a lot of the problems. We're going to make a couple of subs. Jack's had a poor game, so Broder will come on for him, switching to his preferred target man role on attack. And the other one's going to be Shibola. He's really on a tightrope with the yellow card and he has had one of the worst games on the pitch. We can't really afford to take off Lewis even though he's not interested, and Johnny Burns starting to struggle at this level too. We'll bring on Butcher as a box-to-box midfielder, a role he did so well in League One, but I really feel like the back three isn't going to work long term because the tactical instructions just aren't being followed by our players. 20 minutes to go though, we've still got a chance, and with 10 to go we'll push forward to positive. We've got to see out this attack though. If we go 2-0 down there'll be no point. Williams has got the ball at the back. He goes long, but it's aimless. It's straight to Harry's. Can I just show you the tactical instructions quickly? As well as not being too deep and too narrow, in possession, shorter passing and slightly lower tempo. So all he's done there is rush it and go as long as possible. It's something that we just can't understand why. For the first time this season, our players aren't following our instructions. Rolls goes for a shot from 30 yards, but it's comfortably over the bar. I don't know if they're just not coping well when they're being pressed, but with 10 to go, we're going to go positive and we're going to demand a bit more from the lads. Hopefully those who are anxious and frustrated will get focused. Only a couple. Reece Williams still isn't there. Adam Lewis is disinterested still, something we've got to be concerned about, and you can see from our fitness levels there, we're never normally in the 60s. Last season we were mid to low 70s at the end of the game. This year it's completely different. We're spending a lot more of the time chasing, even though we have had more possession. They've headed it wide at the back post, Sunderland, but they've absolutely dominated since the half-hour mark. They're down to 10 men now though. Let's go attacking for the last couple just to see what we can do in stoppage time. I'm not able to pull it off for some reason. The scroller wasn't working, but we've got 2 minutes of stoppage time to go and it looks like it's going to be a 1-0 defeat. So although the result wasn't the worry today, Sunderland are second. We'd expect them to win and they have done 1-0. The worry for me is the absolute domination in the second half and the way that we keep getting so fatigued in this formation. I've got to think about going back to a back four. Long term that's what I'm going to do. I was just trying to do what was best for the players we had this year. It does mean we'll have slightly lower quality players in and not be utilising our brilliant front three, but unfortunately we may have to worry about solidity, particularly on the road this season. We haven't really picked up many points away from home, so maybe it's something we can think about there. A 1-0 defeat of Sunderland though, the lads are pleased for some reason, probably shows our lack of ambition this year, and we've just got to worry about finishing 21st. I know a lot of you said about possibly finishing mid-table after the first day. I think we just happened to come up against a really poor side at home. I don't know where Reading are now. Let's have a look where they are. They are mid-table, so they were nothing special. They're just 6 points ahead of us, and we've still got that 4-point gap back to Millwall. They've got a game in hand though, so that could change by the end of today, and we could be sucked right back into the relegation battle. It's a poor performance which adds to the disappointment of defeat. That's a fair enough statement. I'm not happy with the performance. It says a serious injury to Nico Williams. He's out for 5 to 6 weeks, so I think we may have to give up on the wing-backs now. Ralston's not a natural wing-back, neither's Jack Stacey, and we haven't really got another option on the right. Adam Lewis is as comfortable on the left of midfield as he is at the back, so I think we could be reverting to a back four from the next game. It seems to have been enforced upon us rather than by choice. Crawford's fitness concern is there after nearly every game. He's absolutely diabolical fitness-wise. We've got him working on endurance and have done for a year, but he's just not developing quick enough for this level. It's the one thing that's going to hold him back long term. He's a 19-year-old, he's playing for the Northern Ireland under-21s, so he's getting knackered from that as well. And although he's wanted by bigger clubs, Wolves in particular from the Premier League, I don't think he's going to make it with that lack of natural fitness. I don't know if we've got a week between our next game. We have, so I'm just going to rest him from training and hopefully he'll be fit next Saturday. Let's go and have a look at the schedule for when we'll next be back. But before that, let's quickly look at the dynamics. Everything's still good in there. The team cohesion's apparently good, so I'm not quite sure why they weren't following our tactics. But hopefully they'll be more familiar with the 4-4-1-1. It's very close to what we were doing last year. Just Stacey will be on the right of midfield rather than the attacking right. But either way, after 16 games, we're out of the relegation zone, and we can't complain too much about that. If we look at our schedule then, we've got another busy month coming up. Some big games. Preston at home's going to be a huge one. And then we're playing the leaders Fulham, where we won't expect much. But those games are a little bit too soon. We want to try and get through as much of this season as possible before we have the relegation fight towards the end of the year. I'm assuming that'll be the case. So I want to make sure we've got time to show that in full. So let's have a look at the games in December. Birmingham, Brentford and Palace. Then we've got Bradford at home as well. I'm just seeing which one of them's best. Brentford might be a relegation 6-pointer. That could be a good game to show. They're all in a similar region really. Palace and Bradford City are just a couple of places above that. And then we've got Reading away from home as well. So it could be any of those games really. Charlton at home on New Year's Day. I just want to see how they are. They're 5th in the league, so they could be worth showing. And that would also allow us to work on the January window. But ideally I'd like to show a game just before that. So we'll probably come back for one around Christmas time. But that will be all for this episode. If you did enjoy the video, please put a thumbs up on it as always. Let me know in the comments what you think my expectations should be now. And do you think I should go back to the back four? I think I'm going to have to do it due to Williams' injury. But what do I do once he's fit again? The reason I ask is because Williams' return to fitness will probably coincide with the next episode, so I guess it does partly depend on what happens during the next 6 weeks on the pitch, but if things don't go well, which one do I try and persist with? And obviously we're just 2 episodes away from the January window now, so let me know where you think we need to strengthen. We've got loads of transfer budget left. We're trying not to use it because we want to save for the stadium, but we've got enough to bring in a few squad players or one real quality first teamer. We're not going to spend 9 million of course, but we're probably at the stage now where we can spend $500,000 on a player. We can give them 5 or 6 grand a week, so hopefully we can take some of the top League One players and give them a chance in the Championship. We've got our scouts looking at League One this season, so hopefully they can just find the top players in the division and highlight them to us for this year. Subscribe to the channel for daily FM19 content from my 2 long-term stories, this one part of the furniture with Torquay United, and our other series The Head Coach, where we're a journeyman working under a director of football with no say in transfers or contracts. We moved clubs and our last episode was an introduction to our new team, so if you haven't seen that one yet, then go back and check it out. But a massive thanks for watching as always and your continued support with the series, and we'll see you next time for another big championship game.